Alrighty, what's going on, guys? It's Garland here, bringing you another Neverwinter video. And today we're going to be doing something that we haven't done on the channel yet, and it's going to be a suggestion video to Cryptic. I know a few people have been looking forward to this. A lot of people have been asking me when am I going to start my own thread on the official forums of things that I think the game needs, some suggestions, some tweaks, and just some overall general feedback for the game. Even Strumsinger has been kind of waiting. He tweeted me the other day and said he was looking forward to this video and the thread that I will be making. Like I said, there will be a link in the description to the official thread on the message board if you guys would like to chime in. Feel free to. If you don't have an account on the official message boards for Neverwinter, you can always leave a comment below. But just to add to the conversation, just be sure that if you are going to post on the official message boards, that you keep it civil. We're not starting any flames or anything. Just a minor disclaimer, these are my own personal opinions. This is my own personal feedback. I understand some things aren't going to be possible, but you can always suggest them, and hey, you can always hope for the best. I've played Neverwinter for a very long time. This video is going to be rather long, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. I will applaud anyone that actually does watch the entire video. I may put timestamps in just because there are so many topics that I do want to go over. If you want to skip to a topic to see what I have to say, I may indeed just put timestamps in the video. I have a lot of notes here written down, so I'm going to be shuffling through some papers. In the meantime, the background gameplay is we're going to be doing some of the Siege event because I really don't have anything else to do. But like I said, we're going to try to keep this as civil as we can. And let's jump right into it, guys. The first issue and suggestion that I would really like to bring up is the stacking issues in the game. Now, what do I mean by stacking issues? Well, recently, I believe just in Mod 10, they updated the Identify scrolls, the scrolls of identity, to be able to stack to 999. Previously, it would only stack to 99. However, they felt that it was necessary to increase this number to 999, which I don't keep any scrolls on me anyway. I don't pick up random gear in the game, so I never have anything to identify. So usually when I claim my VIP every day, I usually just end up deleting those scrolls anyway. That was not a factor for me at all. But for a lot of people, they do keep the scrolls because they do pick up a lot of items in the game, and then they will, identify items and then sell it for gold. It's a little bit of gold here and there. It's nothing big, but I just never personally did it. Now, my issue is basically, well, why can't we do that across the board? I feel that there's a lot of items in the game that should actually be stackable to at least 999. Mainly the keys in the game, the whole key system. Now, another user and another YouTube user, FN Huza, I'm sure maybe you guys have heard of him. I believe he was the first one to mention and suggest like some sort of key ring be implemented into the game. Now, I'm perfectly fine with that happening if they want to remove all the keys into a separate inventory per se and call it a key ring. I'm perfectly fine with that. However, if that isn't going to be the case, then there's no reason that keys should not be able to stack to 999. And I'll give you an example here in a second. Let me kill this dragon. But a lot of items in the game, a majority of the items in the game only stack to actually, 99. I believe the professions are the only materials in the game that actually do stack to 999, which is fine and dandy. So the game mechanic is there. It's very possible to implement this change, and there's no reason that it shouldn't be done. But like I said, the major issue I have is the keys, personally, and like I said, just some other items in general. Okay, well, I've hit in both of these, so I'm going to get credit. But let's take a look at my bags here. So for keys, for instance, look at this. I have 4 full stack of Epic Dungeon keys, with another stack being accumulated. There's no reason that this should take 5 inventory slots. Like, there's just no reason. This should be 1 stack, and keys should go up to 999. Easy change, easy fix. No reason that it shouldn't be a thing. Just some other items, I would like to see, enchantments stacked to 999. This character isn't a problem because every time I accumulate a stack, I move it to another character just for storage reasons alone. So one of my characters is purely dedicated as a banking character just to keep all of my enchantments. And he has bags and bags and bags of stacks of 99. Well, it will cut down on a lot of inventory space, obviously, to make it stack to 999, and I don't see the big issue. As far as Cryptic goes and the company standpoint goes, one of the issues was, well, they wanted to push out, the legendary bags in the Zen market to generate revenue, to make some sales. But let's be honest, the game has been out now for so long that point is moot. Like, new people, they still may buy legendary bags out of the Zen market, but a majority of people are going to save up AD and either buy them out of the auction house or get bags another way. Like, another issue is that people are making character slots and using those character slots just for banks, which I don't have a problem with, but I mean, space in Neverwinter is a very limited thing. Yeah, you can buy bank space and shared bank space, but however, that selling point is again moot. Those aren't big ticket items. That shouldn't be a main factor in Cryptic's revenue generation. So just the sheer fact that items don't stack to 999. Let's just look at food in general and potions in general. Like I said, all of these items should stack to 999, especially the invocation blessings. Like, I know people have like 5 stacks of these laying around. There's people that'll just delete them once they accumulate 99. They'll delete them. I don't see the point in delete them. I try to use them as awesome as I can. You can use 2 of these at once, and it's just buffs. Why not buff yourself? So I try to keep at least 1 stack in reserve, and then I do use some while I'm in dungeons the majority of the time. But like I said, potions and food, this is just minor items that shouldn't be that big of a deal to stack more than 99 of. Like I said, usually profession assets they've never had a problem with. They always stack to 999 because professions does have limited space. So, not a huge issue, I don't think. I could see this being implemented down the road. I would really hope so. Lockboxes, okay? Lockboxes stacked 999. Thank God, otherwise we'd have more inventory issues. But especially with 10.5 coming out, Sea of Moving Ice, fishing is being introduced. Well, that fish is going to take up, loads and loads and loads of inventory space. Now, I'm not too bad. I mean, I plan on getting some more legendary bags. I just never really bothered because I never needed it. But now we're starting to get to the phase where, yeah, okay, my bags are getting a little, heavy. Most of this stuff will be used up during a double refinement. But, yeah, so I got some shitty bags here, No big deal. I plan on getting full legendaries across the board. However, still, like I said, I have numerous characters myself that I use for storage. And just like I said, because the items don't stack high enough. But let's not beat, a dead horse. I think you guys get the point. It's a fairly simple suggestion, and I would like to see that happen definitely in the future. Now let's move on to the next point. Now this is a big one, and I have stayed out of the conversation for the most part, just because, there's just so many underlying issues with this. Of course, we're talking about the dungeon chests, the change that they want to implement. They originally announced it, and it was a complete fiasco. Everyone absolutely just lost their mind. I was one of the very few people that were actually for this change. I first heard this, and they said, peeking inside of chests is a bug. It was never supposed to be a thing. I think they miscommunicated with the community. I did have a problem with that. Like, you can't call something a bug that's been happening for the past 3 years. Like, that's just unexcusable. Now, if you would have came out and said to the community, hey, you know, we want to rework the system, these are the changes we would like to implement, and then go forward from there. But the way they announced it, that's what pissed off a lot of people. It's basically a slap in the face to the community as a whole. That change was retracted fairly quickly. They did realize their mistake. However, they did say that the changes will still indeed be coming at a later date. However, they would like to balance the loot tables. Now, this is why I was so excited for the change in the first place. When I first heard that they wanted to add the fact in that it was mandatory to take the chest at the dungeon and it will automatically use your key, I was all for this, because I knew if they were going to implement a change like this, that they would have had to change the loot tables, which would mean better drops. That's the only possible way that system will work, because RNG is just an absolute joke. RNG is the worst loot system you could possibly have in any MMO. So, like I said, when I first heard that they wanted to take the peeking away, I was very excited, because I knew that meant that the loot drops were going to have to significantly be increased, otherwise their new system wasn't going to work. So they did retract their statement, and they did say that they are going to work on the loot system. Now, that's fine and dandy. So now I could spend 2 hours sitting here talking to you guys about how every loot table could be brought up, and how, you know, chests need to be worthwhile. And now that's not my job. That's going to rely on the developers to decide exactly what kind of loot tables they want to use. My biggest concern and my biggest suggestion is that they do need some kind of balance. Currently, like I said, VIP people, if you're high enough, you're getting 3 dragon keys a day. That's why I accumulate so much, because I never do dungeons anymore, to be honest. I mean, I'm to a point in the game now where just I don't grind dungeons anymore, so I accumulate keys. However, there are people out there that do dungeons non-stop. So if you're getting, let's just say, your 3 epic dungeon keys a day, plus you can get a free one from the daily quest. So you're guaranteed 4 keys a day. So that's 4 dungeons that you can do that have an epic dungeon key. Now, most dungeons have a bonus chest as well. We'll talk about campaign keys in a minute. But so that's 4 keys that you're guaranteed. Now, you can always go down to the bazaar, and you can always purchase more keys. Where are they at? I don't even know where they're at. Special items? I never buy keys. What do I know? Maybe they're not in here. Did they take the keys out of here? I thought you were... Oh, okay, there they are. Jeez Louise, I almost had a stroke. But yeah, so you're always able to buy as many keys as you want from the Wondrous Bazaar. Now, the problem here is that these keys are 5k AD each. Now, you can see mine are 4,500 because I have discounts from VIP. But still, that regardless, normal, everyday, casual players that want to run more than... let's just say they don't even have VIP, so they're only getting the daily key a day. They're only getting 1 dungeon a day, and they have to rely on buying keys. So they have to pay 5k AD per key. Now, the problem is in the current state of the game, there's no epic dungeon chests that are worth 5k. So this is way overpriced. Like, this key is not worth 5k. So now you need to either balance the loot tables and leave the key the price that it is, or you need to lower the amount that the key actually costs. Like the standard dungeon key, people that are less than level 70, this should be like 500 AD, if that. You know, 2,500 AD is ridiculous. And I believe like the epic dungeon key could be between 2 to 3k each, depending on how well you actually do balance the loot tables. Like maybe this doesn't need changed at all. It just depends on what's actually going to be in the chest. Now, like I said, I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and talk about how to balance the game and how to balance the loot system, but we're not going to get into that. Like I said, every chest needs to be worthwhile. You need to gain more profit from the chest than what the key is actually worth. And that has to happen every time. And now that's not including rare drops, when like artifact drops, or say X amount of rank 8s. I would like to see multiple rank 8s possible drop from chests, not just one, not just a chance to get one rank 8, but I would like to see even chances to get maybe 3 rank 8s. So like I said, the loot definitely needs balanced. That's not a problem. I know they're going to do it. I just really hope they do it correctly, because this could either make the game or it will break the game. Like, your game will die. People will stop playing your game. I guarantee you that. If you mess up the loot table changes and then implement the key change and the chest change, and if people don't like it, they will quit the game. They are so used and so reliant on being able to, peek inside chests for the past 3 years and deciding, well, I don't want to take this chest. So if you do implement that change, you guys definitely need to do it correctly. Now, I do want to talk about, just very quickly, I said the campaigns. Now, the campaign keys are just atrocious. They totally need rework. So if we skip to the top here and let's just pick, let's just go to Underdark because it's easy. So if you're making campaign keys, you could basically make one campaign key a day. That needs to totally change. It should not take 20 hours to make one campaign key. That is just absurd, especially if you do introduce the dungeon chest changes where keys are going to be used automatically. So 20 hours to make one key per campaign, no, that's not going to happen. And I know your selling point is that you want people, obviously, to buy, legendary dragon keys out of the Zen shop. Now, that's perfectly fine. People are still going to buy legendary dragon keys because people like me are actually lazy and they won't farm campaign currency. However, I'm going to mention this numerous times. I'm not going to get this, I don't think. I'm going to mention this numerous times, and that's the fact that, I missed this one. That limiting your players, putting a limit on players, is one of the worst things you can do in any MMO. You don't want to limit your player base on what they can do. That's the whole point of an MMO, is if a dedicated player wants to play the game for 14 to 16 hours a day, every single day, that player should not be limited. There shouldn't be limitations on certain things. So for instance, I think the campaign keys should actually only take maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours to generate a key, to make a key. That way you can make multiple keys a day. What I mean by limiting players is that if people want to farm X amount of dungeons a day, then you need to give them the opportunity to farm X amount of dungeons per day without relying on legendary dragon keys. Like I said, you're still going to make profit off legendary dragon keys. People are still going to buy legendary dragon keys. But at the same time, they have to be worth their money too. So if you expect people to pay, I think you lowered the price for legendary dragon keys. If you expect people to pay 250 Zen for 5 legendary dragon keys, well, then the chests that they're going to use them on obviously need to be worthwhile. There needs to be some kind of profit. You can't take a loss as far as the currency goes. So speaking of currency, like I said, if a dedicated player wants to farm X amount of campaign currency a day, you shouldn't limit a player on how much they can run dungeons. That should not be a thing. So 20 hours, that severely needs cut down to, I would say, like I said, anywhere between 1 to 4. Even maybe 6 hours a day isn't horrible. That way you can still make multiple keys. And then even add a feature where you can rush key making if you so choose. Make it sort of like a profession task where if someone wants to rush a key, if they want to spend a little bit of AD to rush it, then that's also a possibility. Let me shuffle through some notes here. I think that's pretty much all I want to mention as far as, like I said, the dungeon chest keys go. Like I said, the loot table has to be done correctly, guys. I can't stress that enough. I don't care if you guys take 6 months before this change gets put into the, before this change gets put into the game, but it has to be done correctly. This will make or break the game. It will basically hold the future for Neverwinter if you do, in fact, plan to introduce it, which I do hope you do, because like I said, I would actually enjoy getting some real loot. I've probably done more dungeons than I can count, and I've only ever once pulled one artifact out of a dungeon, and that was the Black Ice Beholder out of Kessel's. I've never seen a Lostmouth Horn drop. I've never seen an Orcus Shard drop. I've never seen any other artifact in the game drop, and I've probably done tens of thousands of dungeons. Like, I used to grind dungeons like 15 hours a day non-stop, and that's before, I kind of lost interest, and then I started accumulating keys, and now I rarely do dungeons. That's why I said I was really excited that change might actually be happening, because like I said, I knew that they would have to balance the loot. Alright, let's move on to the next point. I kind of went over this point already in the previous point, is like the cost of the keys and just the keys overall, the campaign keys. Like I said, the campaign key production definitely needs to be decreased in time. You don't want to limit your players on how much farming they can do. You want to encourage people to play your game and have fun while they're playing their game. You don't want to have limitations on silly things like that. Like, some things in MMOs obviously need limitations, but some things that there just shouldn't be limitations on. So moving right along. Now this next point is basically just my personal opinion. I've never really seen anyone really mention this before, and this is a long shot, as I know the developers have a lot on their plate as it is, with future mods coming out and fixing, glitches and trying to class balance and everything else. Like, I know you guys are a very limited team. You don't have a huge development team, and you guys are doing your best to make the game as best as you possibly can, and to make it enjoyable for everybody. But the next point that I do want to talk about is seasonal events. Now, what do I mean by seasonal events? So we're talking about, like the summer event, the Halloween event. This event going on right now, this is a once-a-year event, the Siege of Neverwinter. I think the Siege of Neverwinter is kind of like the Veterans Day event in the States. It kind of did actually start a day before Veterans Day, but it's kind of like a Veterans Day thing, and it does last a good bit, but it is once-a-year thing. Now, my problem with seasonal events is that nobody wants to see the same event over and over and over and over again. So like on PC, for instance, they've had the Halloween event 3 times. It's been the same every single time. We're just going to use the Halloween event as an example here. So we had the Halloween event on console now for what? 2 times? 3 times? I forget exactly when Neverwinter launched on Xbox, but I believe that we did get it 3 times. This past Halloween, I think, was the 3rd time. It might have been only the 2nd time. I honestly don't remember. It's been too long. Excuse me. But like I said, the seasonal events. This is a big point for MMOs. Your player base loves seasonal events. Now, when I talk to people in the game, a majority of people won't even do seasonal events anymore, because they're either boring or they're not rewarding enough. Or they've also done it in the past and there's no reason to do it again, because A, they either got the in-game achievements for it, or B, they got all the rewards for it, and there's no reason for them to farm any more of the rewards, because usually, the rewards aren't going to be worth very much, unfortunately. So my suggestion is that all of the seasonal events need reworked, all of them. I do give you guys applaud for doing the tweaks to the Halloween event this year. That was a huge deal. In the past, you had to change the currency with a ratio of 1-to-1 by running around in town and blah, blah, blah. That sucked, okay? That was a lot of farming for fashion items, basically. This year, you guys changed the ratio where you can hand in 1 and get a bag of treats and get up to 3 tokens in return. So it was like almost a 1-to-3 ratio or a 1-to-2 ratio. But it wasn't a 1-to-1 ratio. So it cut down the farming by a lot. So people were actually able to accumulate more masks than previous year. But here's my problem with the masks. It's the same mask. It's the same loot table that we've seen countless times now, and it's like that in every event. Now, I will give you guys credit. You did add a new mask this year, which is the Orcus mask, which I'm actually wearing right now, and it's probably the best fashion item in the game, in my own personal opinion. I think the mask looks amazing. I'm a big fan of like darkness and evil and everything. That's why I play Warlock for starters. But yeah, it's like a skull mask. You know, it's Orcus mask. It's awesome. It's a great item. Now, my suggestion is, and this is what you do, the Orcus mask should never drop again. Period. I mean, maybe a couple years down the road you bring it back again, but you need to have seasonal loot items, seasonal loot rewards. So if someone knew that the Orcus mask was only going to drop this year forever, then you bet your sweet ass people are going to actually play the event because they're going to want that mask. They're going to want to farm multiple copies of that mask because down the road, a new player is going to come along and say, wow, that is one hell of a badass mask and I really want that. Well, they're going to pay a few million AD for it because you can't get it anymore. It was a limited item. I'm a very, very big fan of seasonal limited items for holiday events. Now, what does this do as a development team? Well, you have to make more items. You have to make more items for every single event. I know this takes time. I know this takes work. And I understand the fact that everything needs to be approved by the official D&D squad. And I am going to miss this event again because I am talking maybe. He usually gets one shot. I'm a beast. Yeah, I'm only half-assing these encounters. I'm too busy talking. But anyway, I know D&D needs to approve everything. Everything has to coincide with the D&D universe. That is perfectly fine. I understand that. And I'm sure everything needs to be approved by Perfect World Entertainment as well. I really wish that Cryptic Studios was an independent company and they had the freedom to do whatever they chose. But I understand that there are limitations. However, all of this stuff is possible. No matter how big of a long shot it is, I would really, really like to see it. For starters, just like I said, we're going to use the Halloween event as an example. There's no reason that the Halloween event shouldn't have a magnitude of items. I'm talking full body fashion items. I'm talking about special mounts. I'm talking about maybe even some special Halloween event only food with some different statistics other than other event foods. I mean, the possibilities are endless when you're talking about rewards. Like I said, I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and generate items, you know, and introduce new items into the game. And I have a plethora of ideas for items alone. But that's just one thing. Now, what does this do to the economy? Now, this is going to give the economy a huge boost because, A, you're going to have more people farming events because the events will actually be worthwhile now. Because, like I said, if you only have a limited time to get said mask, people are going to want it. People want what they can't get. You know, that's simple logic for just human beings as a whole. If I told you couldn't get the Orcus mask anymore, then people are going to pay for it. They're going to want it. So the people that actually farm the event are going to be rewarded, and that's what you want to do. You want to reward your player base. I think all of the holiday events need a complete overhaul as far as their quests go too. Like, some of the quests are pretty bland, to be honest. Like, they're kind of boring, they're kind of repetitive. Like I said, they're the same events just redone over and over and over again. You guys just flip a button and turn the event on. You know, that's no fun. It's no fun for old players such as myself. For new players, that the first time they actually get to do the event, then yeah, they have some excitement. But if they play the event the following year, they're probably not even going to do it. They're not going to want to do it because it's going to be the same exact event. So, I mean, like I said, I can beat this dead horse all night too, you know. It is what it is. Like I said, it is a long shot. I would really like to see a seasonal event overhaul on just about 90% of the events. Like I said, they do need reworked. Like even this Siege event that's going on right now. This is a once a year event, and it's boring. Did my game just crash? Yay, lag. But like I said, it's a once-a-year event, but it's boring. All we do is farm heroic events non-stop. That's all you do. There's only, 2 daily quests, one out of the stronghold and then one in the map itself. Like 2 daily quests for the entire event every day. So basically you're forced to farm heroics non-stop, which is horrible timing because everyone's farming heroics for mod 10 right now to get their resources, which we'll get into here momentarily. But as you can see, like I said, I could beat this dead horse all night, but I would really like to see better rewards. Like I said, it will boost the economy. It will give a reason to farm the events multiple times. Like I said, to get limited items like that, they're going to want multiple copies because they're going to want to sell those down the road, Now, I'm not saying, they're going to go skyrocket high because a lot of people are going to be playing the events where previously weren't. It's just easy, I don't know what more to say about it, honestly. Just browse through my notes here real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. But anyway, yeah, you get the gist of it. Let's move on. Okay, now number four. Number 4 is a very, very, very big deal, which I think, and I don't know why this didn't happen in the first place. Now we're going to talk about legendary rings. So what are we going to talk about with legendary rings? Well, let's talk about the drop rates and how bad they are. And then let's talk about the sheer fact of how many legendary rings there are in the game. So yes. Hopefully during the rework, the legendary rings maybe get an increased drop. However, like I said, I've done tens of thousands of dungeons, and I have only ever seen 3 legendary rings drop. 3, guys. 3 legendary rings in my total career of Neverwinter. And guess what? All 3, 100% complete useless to me. I only play one class. I play a warlock. That's all I play. I do not play multiple classes. So when I pull, let's say, a +5 sudden defense ring or a +5 sudden deflect ring, that is 100% useless to me. Which, those are 2 rings that I have pulled, as well as a... You know what, I don't even know what 3rd ring I pulled, but it was a PvP ring. It was either Vanishing Presence or the Sight one. I don't know. It was something that I am never going to use. So I have 3 +5 legendary rings sitting in my bank, rotting away. So please tell me, what's the point of that? There is no point. Simple as that. Now, this is fine and dandy for people that have 10 characters and they actually play 10 characters or, or have one of every class. Well, good for you. What about, us guys, us girls that only play one character class, and we're perfectly, content with that. I only play a warlock. I really love the warlock. That's all I want to play. That's all I'm ever going to play, most likely. I do have alts, I have a 70 cleric that I dick around on every once in a while, but for the most part, I play one character. So I can't describe to you the feeling that when you're finally doing dungeon and you pull a legendary ring, but oh wait, like I said, it's a +5 sudden defense. Well shit, I'm a warlock. Good game, Cryptic, good game. Let's move on to the suggestion. I don't want to get too butthurt about that, but my suggestion is very simple. It's basically put in an item to replace all of the drops for legendary rings. You could call this item whatever you want. I think in my notes, I call it like a pure golden band. So you have a 1% chance in every dungeon that has a legendary ring drop to get a 1% chance drop for the pure golden band, and it's very simple. It's an exchange method. You take the pure golden band to the Enclave, and you can trade the pure golden band for whatever legendary ring you want. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, you need to reward your player base. I understand that legendary rings are the rarest rings in the game. They're pretty much the best in slot currently, right now, as rings in the game. I understand that. You can't just hand those out. They're just as rare as legendary mounts. You can't give them to everybody, but at the same time, you need to reward your players. You can't piss off your player base. That's a big no-no. So if you have someone that farms dungeons non-stop, and like I said, they finally pull a legendary ring, and then they're not even able to use it, what the hell are they going to do with it? I refuse to salvage it. I have 3 of them. They're going to sit in my bank forever. I refuse to salvage it. That's how rare a legendary ring drop is. So like I said, the suggestion is very simple. Add an exchange method. This doesn't break the game. This doesn't do anything to the game. It doesn't affect the game at all. You're simply rewarding your player base. You're going to have the same drop ratio, except it's going to be a placeholder item. So, hey, look, I just got a pure golden band drop. I can finally get that sudden precision ring, the +5 sudden precision ring that I want. Oh, I can finally get that brutality +5 that I want. Thankfully, I've put the time into the game. I invested time into the game. I finally got this drop. Give the player what they want, because just the sheer fact that there are so many legendary rings in the game, so the chances of you actually getting the one that you want is already less than 1% of the drop rate. So you have a drop rate that's already 1%. Now cut that into tenths of a percent because there's so many rings. Now, there is going to have to be some balance. So, there'll have to be, a temporary NPC put into the Enclave that will indeed have to have some sort of limited availability to trade for, say, players that do already have legendary rings. You have to be fair to them as well. Like, for my case, for instance, I do have 3 legendary rings. I would be able to turn those 3 legendary rings into the new currency, the pure golden band, and then trade those golden bands in for rings of my choosing. However, this would have to be a limited time thing. This would have to be maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe just a month long, and then that needs removed. You wouldn't be able to keep that NPC in the game, because then people would exploit it and they would be swapping out rings left and right, especially for PvP. You would have players who play both PvE and PvP. Well, they would just use their PvE rings and then go swap to PvP rings for +5s when they so choose. So yeah, there would have to be a limited time for that initial exchange for the people that already have +5s to turn into the currency. But then once that time runs away, then every new drop from here on out would be that new currency. And like I said, is this game breaking? Absolutely not. Is it necessary? I kind of think so. Like I said, I can't express to you how disheartening it is and discouraging it is to finally get one of the rarest drops in the game, and then you not even be able to use it. It's just freaking useless, I would really like to hear your guys' feedback and thoughts on that point there. Is that a good idea? I think it's a fantastic idea, but maybe other people will have either a better suggestion or some feedback on that by itself. We're moving right along. We're coming up on 40 minutes into this video. Like I said, I talk a lot, but this is a suggestion video. Like I said, all the topics will be written out and posted if you so choose to read them. The next topic is going to be the future mods and the content. This part may get a little ranty. Let me just hit these once, and then I want to focus on what I want to say here. Let me just make sure I get credit for this heroic. Go hide up here. As I look through my notes here, the new content, the future mods, they need to be strong. They need to be strongly developed. They need to be done correctly. Mod 10 and Mod 10.5, Storm King's Thunder, and Sea of Moving Ice, it's atrocious. Let's be honest. It is absolutely atrocious. I don't understand what you guys were doing when you decided to introduce this module. The storyline is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with the storyline. The quests, the daily grind, completely boring. The maps are way too big for the daily quests. Oh man, there's so much I can say. Like I said, I don't want this to be ranty, but at the same time, I'm just trying to give you general feedback without sounding like a complete douchebag. So let's just talk about the Vonin Blood. What developer over at Cryptic thought it was a good idea to rehash the same fucking content that we've had before? Okay, I'm sorry, excuse me swearing, but I got really angry right there. You guys have tried this before. The same exact thing. All this is rehashed version of Black Ice. Did Black Ice work? No, it did not work. No one wanted to wear Black Ice. No one wanted to keep an upkeep on their armor, okay? No one wants to do that. Now, what's my suggestion? Let's get into my suggestion for the module. It needs completely rebalanced. The entire module needs rebalanced. The drop ratio compared to how much you need of the Vonin blood is just absurd. Absurd. Let's take a look at the campaign. Let's jump up here. I haven't even done anything in it too because I'm too freaking lazy. But let's just look at the boons, for instance. Let's look at the top end boon. 21,000 Vonin blood. I think in my notes, I think it said it cost 60k. That might have been an over exaggeration. I think that was for, I was thinking as far as like when Sea of Moving Ice comes out, the third tier of the boons, they're going to get a tier system. I think that will accumulate up to 60k. But 21k just for the first tier of these boons for the Vonin blood. Now that's not counting everything else in the campaign as a whole. That's not counting this gear that you have to restore. Like, here's another just 10k, you know? Not counting all the other shit that you need. The Borax is 22k Vonin blood by itself. So another 10k for gear that no one's going to use. 4 out of 5 people that I have talked to in game will not use this armor. They will not. Half the people are skipping the entire mod. They're not even doing mod 10. That's how bad mod 10 is. Like I said, the storyline's great. The maps look absolutely beautiful. But I have a feeling that's all that you guys spent time on. Because basically, it's just a rehashed version of Icewind Dale. As far as the quest line goes, like I said, they are just completely boring. The daily quest grind is atrocious. It is so boring. Like, the maps are way too big to be running around doing just that daily grind. Like, it sucks. Now, like I said, I don't want to get off track. The Vonin blood, the ratio, it needs rebalanced. It either needs turned down for how much you need for the campaign and certain tasks and restoring relics and blah blah blah, or you need to increase the heroic events and how much they give. Currently, the heroic events will give, I think, 200 each, so you need to do five heroics per 1,000. So there's a cap on Vonin blood as well. You can only have 100k. Why? Why is there a cap on a resource that I need to supposedly keep upkeep on my gear? If I want to stack 900k Vonin blood, then I should be able to. Once again, that's a limitation, needs removed. Shouldn't be there. If a player wants to actually use this armor, which I'm not sure why anyone would, but if they want to use this armor and keep the upkeep on it, then yeah, there shouldn't be a 100k limit. That should be, okay, if you want to have a limit, make it at least 500k. If a person wants to stockpile 500k, that way they never have to worry about upkeep on their gear, then there's no reason to limit a player on that. But like I said, the entire mod, like, people are skipping the entire mod. There is nothing good in this mod. Let's look at it again. These boons are by far the worst boons we have ever seen in the game. These boons make no sense. For an MMO, you need to progress forward. I would see these boons right here. I would think these would be from like mod 4, mod 5. That's what these boons would be for. There is nothing here. Like, the best boon, for crying out loud, is the 4th boon. Look at this. This is the best boon in the campaign. 3,200 HP. And Everfrost damage. Who cares about Everfrost resistance? That statistic is irrelevant. So you know, the 2% Everfrost resist, irrelevant. Everfrost resistance doesn't even need to be It doesn't even need to be in the game. You decided to put a 28% requirement to get in the hardest dungeon in the game, Fangbreaker Island. You need 28%. Okay, that's fine and dandy. We're getting the 28%. We go into the dungeon. We take off all that shitty gear and put our rear gear back on. Real gear. We put our real gear back on. Couldn't talk there for a second. But like I said, that's a development flaw. Like, why even introduce Everfrost resistance when no one's going to use it? It makes no sense. 0 sense. But yeah, these boons are atrocious. They need reworked. Look at this. 2% lifesteal severity. 2% control resist? What is this? Is this mod 5 stuff? Mod 6 stuff? Mod 4? Mod 3? I don't understand. An MMO needs to progress forward. You need to increase things as you go along. Like I said, you introduced the hardest dungeon that we've ever seen. And don't get me wrong, it is hard. The dungeon is very hard. But then you give us campaign boons like this. Like, what is this? 400 stamina gain? 400 incoming healing bonus? Like, come on, dude. Like, these need rework. These need increased. Chance when taking damage to gain up to 2,000 bonus damage on next to tank. Are you kidding me? 2,000 bonus damage? What the hell is 2,000 bonus damage? My companion does more damage than 2,000 damage. Like, come on. So, yeah, you gain up to 2,000 recovery. This one's fine. This one doesn't need reworked because there's one to match it with the maze engine. You know, that's fine. But like I said, let's look at these end game thing. Icy Chill, 50 stacks that deal 10k damage? Are you kidding me? 50 stacks you have to accumulate for a bonus 10k damage. Like, come on, dude. Come on. Like, in what world did you think that these boons were good? Healing spells, you know, come on. Healing potions now heal you for 10%. I haven't used a healing potion since mod, like, 4. I don't even remember the last time I've used a healing potion, to be perfectly honest. And then deflected attack. Like, come on, guys. What are you guys doing? Like, that's an absolute joke. You guys need to rework that whole system. I'm not knocking you guys. I'm really not. Like, I understand that it's hard, you know. Developers take a lot of shit. I understand that. But at the same time, this complete mod was bad. Like, I just don't understand what went wrong. Like, who was running the ship over there? I know you guys have gone through some management changes as well. I know Foss is in there now. I really hope he changes a lot of things. But mod 10, not good. Not good. I don't want to make this video very ranty. If you want to read more about my mod 10 thoughts, then go to the link below in the description and actually read what I wrote out. It'll be on the official message boards. Let's move on quickly to the next topic. Like I said, I don't want to make this a ranty video. But for the next topic, we are going to talk about the hardest dungeon in the game, and that's Fangbreaker Island. I'm going to try to keep this to a minimum as well. Fangbreaker, most definitely the hardest dungeon we've ever seen. It is no joke. The first time that I did it, once it went live at reset time, we started it. It took us 4 hours to finish. Four hours, and we did it without a cleric because the cleric wasn't around at the time. So we did it 4 hours, no cleric, and it was by far definitely the hardest dungeon you guys have introduced. I'll give you credit, but at the same time, I'm taking that credit away because it is by far the most glitchiest dungeon that you guys have ever made. There are so many things wrong with this dungeon, and I don't understand. I know you guys have a test server. I know the PC players play on the test server. Are they not reporting the issues to the development team, or are they reporting the issues and the development team isn't caring and pushing out the content anyway? Because Fangbreaker Island is one of the most broken dungeons I have ever seen. It is absolutely atrocious. Just some of the things, like you'll go up to a door in the dungeon and you'll queue for the door. The countdown will go down and it'll just reset. Well, after about 8 times of doing this, it'll finally let you pass through. That's a very minor thing in the dungeon. The first boss, the mechanics of the first boss are really, really bad. We're having problems where he'll go invisible. People won't be able to target it. The tank won't be able to target it. So many issues. The first boss, I'm just going to throw this out there. You can kill the first boss in 10 seconds. You can bypass the first boss encounter. You can kill him in 10 seconds. I'm not going to talk about how to do that. If someone from the development team would like to contact me and go over how bad this dungeon really is, I will be more than willing to sit down with you and discuss said matters. But yeah, the first boss, you just bypass it. You kill it in 10 seconds, move on. Like I said, the doors are very buggy. The trash mobs alone are very buggy. The second boss, the dragon turtle, he has very, very buggy mechanics. There's been instances where I've had 3 turtles on my screen. I've had 1 turtle on the island attacking us, 1 turtle in the water swimming around in circles, and 1 turtle in the water casting his frost breath attack. What the hell are we supposed to do in a case like that? The frost attack alone will one-shot you, but then you have a turtle on the island casting Wild Swing, which, by the way, on the console, pretty much can't be avoided. You can't dodge his Wild Swing right now. So you have to either be able to tank through it or have a Bubble Paladin to even survive the second event. Yeah, very, very buggy mechanics, dude. Second encounter is not very pleasant. You basically have to DPS that guy down as quickly as you possibly can. Otherwise, he bugs out. Like I said, you'll end up with 3 turtles on your screen and not know what the hell to do. Let's talk about the last boss. She's totally glitchable. Numerous ways that you could totally glitch the last boss where she won't do hardly any damage to you and she'll stand stationary and you'll be able just to DPS her down like nothing. I will say this. People are running Fangbreaker Island on Xbox right now in 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. Non-legitly. Okay? Non-legitly. Legitly, doing the dungeon 100% legitly, people are still doing the dungeon in 25 to a half hour. So for the hardest dungeon in the game, it's already being conquered. And people are already starting to not do FBI anymore. They've already done. They've already got full relic gear already. We're not even 3 weeks into mod 10 and people already have full relic gear already. Now, I can't say if they've done it non-legitly the entire time just to run through it, get the gear, and then never do the freaking dungeon again. I can't speak for everyone. I personally prefer to do the dungeon legitly because I think it's a fun dungeon, but the headaches surrounding the dungeon, and then, of course, the rewards are clearly not worth it right now because the dungeon changes haven't come yet. The chest changes simply haven't come yet. So, I mean, what's my suggestion? I mean, I don't know. I mean, not to be mean, but don't put content out there if it's broke. Like, test your content. Like, I don't know how other way to say it, to be honest. Like, why would you put something out there that is that broken? Do you guys just, like I said, not test it? Do you just push it out there just for sakes of getting the content out there? I really don't know. I mean, that's not my place to make that call or make that assumption. But I can tell you that it's the buggiest and the glitchiest dungeon that we've ever seen in the game, by far. Like I said, any member of the development team, Foss, if you ever see this video and you want to talk to me one-on-one, buddy, I will set you so straight, man. I will tell you exactly how to fix everything, okay? Because honestly, the way it's sitting right now and the state of the game, you guys are bleeding players right now. We're in probably the top 1% as far as guilds go. I would say Legendary Outlaws, and you know what? I can't even say Look Good, Play Good is really sitting on the top anymore. Most of the Look Good, Play Good people on Xbox have either quit the game or they migrated over to PS4. So, as far as Xbox One PvE guilds go, I don't want to toot our own horn, but Legendary Outlaws is probably number one now. And we have noticed a significant number of people, just from our guild alone, have quit the game. And that's just for combined reasons, you know. Like I said, I don't want to make this ranty. This isn't a rant video, it's a suggestion video. But at the same time, it is a general feedback video. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. Mod 10 was just a mess. I would say get Sea of Moving Ice out there, do whatever it is you got to do, and just 100% focus on Mod 11 and what you guys are going to do in Mod 11. Try to make some kind of balance for the relic gear. I don't know. I don't know what other suggestions to give you. Okay, last topic of the video. I mean, yeah, we're coming up on an hour. I told you guys this was going to be a long video. Last topic of the video is just going to be overall future plans, per se. And there's just minor suggestions that I would like to see in the game. Like, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes. I've gone over so many things already. Like artifact gear, an actual set of artifact gear. Are we ever going to see that? I think that we should have 3 sets of artifact gear done correctly. They each have a set bonus, sort of like the Mod 5 gear, but of course not super overpowered. At the same time, they need to be balanced correctly. So yeah, Gar saying, yeah, give us, oh yeah, Gar, let's put more refinement in the games. It's not like we don't have to refine, everything as it is. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, guys. We need, like I said, as the game goes, you need to progress the game. At the same time, the items need to progress. When are we going to see an update to Mythic? Is Mythic going to be the end game? I don't think so. I think another tier can be added to increase this up to item level 180, if not 200. We can call it Immortal. It could be red outlined. At the same time, then you can slowly upgrade, your 3-piece set to Mythic, and then eventually Immortal down the road. We're talking mods down the road here, guys. Mod 12, Mod 13, Mod 14, Mod 15. If the game even survives that long, we'll see what happens. But yeah, this stuff can be upgraded to Mythic finally. Then, like I said, maybe Immortal. The artifacts can go to Immortal. I would like to see an artifact set gear put in the game itself. Mythic mounts, those ever going to come around, faster mount speed, more insignia bonuses. Like, there's just so much more stuff that the game can have to make it a successful and profitable game. I do marketing for a living. I know how to make buku amounts of money. I could very easily flip a profit on this game in 24 hours if I wanted to. Still waiting for Cryptic to hire me, though. They won't hire me, but I'm just saying. There's definitely things this game could be doing. This could be one of the best MMOs on the market if it wanted to be. I don't understand, as far as their company goes, what's exactly going on over there. That's, like I said, that's none of my business. That's, it is what it is. But yeah, I would like to definitely see maybe a new class. It's always rumored that maybe a new class will come out. If a new class does come out, that does take a lot of work. There needs to be balancing done. I mean, you guys can't even balance the current classes. I'm not saying that mean. I know how hard it is to balance a class, but let's be honest. The Warlock's been out for how long now, and the Warlock has been broke since day one. And he continues to be broke, and you're still making changes to him to break him even more. You think you're fixing him, but you're just actually breaking him even more. But yeah, I would like to see, new classes eventually come out. Hell, even maybe some new races. Why not introduce some new races? Spice it up a little bit, There could be loads of new things. That's gonna wrap it up for the video. Like I said, link in the description if you want to join in the official discussion on the message boards. If you want to leave a comment on this video, I appreciate it. If you want to rate the video, I appreciate it. If you haven't subbed to the channel yet, I would also appreciate it. We are almost getting up to that 5K mark, which is just outstanding. I couldn't believe that the channel has grown so fast. So I want to thank all you guys for the support. If you did survive this entire video, this hour-long video, if you survived it, leave me a comment in the description that said hashtag I survived. Okay, let's just see how many people actually watched this entire video and actually cares to what I have to say, basically, because like I said, this is, you know, just my opinions and my suggestions and my feedback. Hashtag I survived, baby. Leave it in the comments below, guys. We're going to finish up this heroic here, and we're going to sign her off. We ain't even going to finish it. We're just going to run away, because I'm a beast. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you in the next video, guys.